So you guys have probably been wondering, like, why does Arrge keep dropping to diamond? How is it the hanzo nerfs? Is it because he's paying for reverse boost? Is it like there's so many reasons that you guys come up with? It's very interesting to read them. So today I'm finally going to reveal the real reason. We're gonna go so in depth to this situation that's happening right now that there won't be as a thread of doubt as to why I dropped this far down. So yeah, let's begin. Let's start off with some theories from you guys, from the other side of the screen. So first, we have a theory from Cheng Min Yu. Whatever conspiracy theories you have, Arrge dropped to diamond because of one thing: the nerfs. The new storm arrow nerfs was way too much and too unnecessary. I mean, the new storm arrow nerf was unnecessary.
Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, so
Ever since she's up, you're struggling.
The nerfs, like obviously the nerfs. Oh my god, I hate that word. The nerfs played a tiny part on it, but the fact is I dropped to 3.6k at least twice before the arrow speed nerfs or the rapid fire nerfs. So that's not the reason. Like obviously it lowers my win rate by about, I'd say, maximum of 3%. So, but it's not that big of a deal. And like I said, I did drop to 3.6 many times before this thing happened. And then the elephant in the room. Gilgamesh has the theory that it's the girlfriend. Ever since he started doing and grouping up with her, he started to derank. No. Even before the changes, even before any of this happened, even before I met her, I dropped to 3.6k many times. We were both GM on multiple accounts before we even knew each other. So that's not the reason. Like suddenly both of us went from GM to diamond. That's not the case either. Like I mean obviously that's the first time I dropped to diamond, but I've dropped to 3.6k many times before I even met her. But if we want to be completely honest here, I do lose more games because of her, but that's not a reason to play without her, because I lose games because there's people in the team that literally don't want to win because she's a woman or because she's a mercy main. So they just immediately give up. And then it's way harder to win the game when they don't even care. Their misogynistic hatred for my girlfriend makes them throw the game. I'd say at least every 10th game is lost just because someone in my team can't handle that there's a fucking woman in the team. Like grow up, people. And then next theory comes from Coyotea. Looks like he's just soft throwing to lower ranks. Epic. I mean, I've read so many comments from my videos. There's always a lot of people like, oh, he wasted that ultimate. Oh, he missed shots here. He must be throwing on purpose. Like, no one is perfect. No one hits every shot. Even in Grandmaster, I'd say everyone makes at least 10 mistakes a game. And then when you drop to Masters, it goes to like 50 to 100 mistakes. And then when you get to low Masters and Diamond, it's like people make more mistakes than they actually make right decisions. But like obviously when I'm dropping so much and I'm playing with people who just make so many mistakes, and the reason why I need to try as hard as I would try in top 500 is just because my teammates are extremely bad and we're against Smurfs, or because someone in the enemy team is hacking, or someone in my team is throwing, then I don't feel the same motivation to try my hardest as I would if I was in top 500 and I felt like I had to try because the enemy team is really good at the game. Oh, and I am a streamer. I play this game up to 12 hours a day. There's the chat, there's the donations, I'm trying to be entertaining, so I'm not as fully focused on the game as the enemy team's top 500 booster smurf that's just trying to get the account to GM as fast as possible to get his couple €100 for the account. And I'm also just a human being. The more hours I play, the more exhausted I get, the more mistakes I start making. And yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm not using Adderall, I'm not using aimbot, so I'm not that consistent. I can't be 100% consistent every single match. Like right now I'm recording this at 6 AM. Like I streamed for 7 hours and I was editing videos, fixing my stream, all that stuff for 5 more hours. By now I'm gonna be editing for a couple more hours. Like I won't be at my best. I work up to 18 hours a day to, you know, grow my stream, to grow the YouTube channel, to make content for you guys. Then we get to this really interesting theory from Shadow Natrix. Like, he kinda has the right idea here. He says, maybe not boosted, but I'll tell you how he stayed in GM. He's an EU player, and obviously EU is way too hard for him. That's why he swapped to NA to get easy wins and free SR. He managed to stay in GM, and now he's playing EU. He can't even carry low master, or he's washed, or he's completely boosted. Well, I've made it to 4.6k on both EU and NA servers. The last time I made it to 4.6 was after I was hard stuck 3.9 on EU, and then I switched to NA servers, and in the span of 1 week I went from 3.9k to 4.6k, reaching top 10. And in the last 4 or 5 games there was a stream sniping aimbotter in the enemy team, but I still managed to win those games. And that kinda leads to the next question. But so first of all, EU is not harder for me because the players are better. I'd say EU and NA players are equally good. I'd say maybe the only difference is that EU players are more about mechanical skill and just pure aim, whereas NA players, it's more about communication and teamwork. But either way, I made it to 4.6k on both sides. But then we get to the main reason. Like, don't get mad. So many people get mad when I say this. But I'm gonna prove it to you guys. I'm gonna show you guys a lot of stuff. I'm gonna tell you guys stories, and then I'm gonna end with kinda telling you about who I am, why I act the way I do, and why I would get so much hate. But yeah, let's move on to the next section of the video. I'm just gonna put this clip on the background of a more obvious thrower. Like, this dude, he gets me in his team, so he will literally just AFK most of the match, only like shooting sometimes, and then eventually just disconnecting from the game. So what I'm claiming here is the reason why I was hard stuck masters on EU and then climbed to 4.6k in 1 week when I went to the NA servers, even though my ping was 150, is that people were throwing my games. On a bad day, I'd say about 66% of my games were thrown, but normally it would average between like 10 to 50% of my games being thrown every day. And the throwing is not always like jumping off the map. Like, the most common way would be to pick a hero that is the worst combination with hanzo, even if they never play that hero, just because they hated the fact so much that I just one-tricked hanzo. So they would just pick, for example, Symmetra or Torbjörn, which they never normally would play, and then on top of that, most of them would also just flame me the whole match instead of focusing on the game and trying their best. So obviously we're gonna lose that game, especially if it's a top 500 match. And just think about, let's say, even if 10% of my games were thrown, that would mean that my win rate would go from 50% to 40%, which would already drop me out of GM. If you think I'm full of shit, then you're probably a new viewer. Like, this hate towards me has been happening ever since I started streaming. Like, here's a clip of me getting reported at the start of the game. Like, there was this cool thing where people would snipe me. Some of them would throw the game, but all of them would report me even before the match even starts and try to get other people in the team to report me at the start of the match. And yeah, here's a clip of me getting reported at the beginning of the match, and then even though I win the game and climb to top 500, I get suspended.
Guys, can I report the slick boy? Just for me.
What? Am I being reported?
No. Can you report the slick boy for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. I don't like him.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
This is Arrge, and he's big poo-poo.
4, 3,
Indeed, dude. Big poo-poo.
attack commencing.
Ow!
Escort remaining.
Oh, is the top 500? So here's a recent tweet from meman_OW. PSA, people are paying others to throw games for streamers and others alike. These peoples are openly sexist and homophobic, that being the only reason they throw games. This kind of behavior should not be tolerated. We as a community should be more open on addressing this problem. But the thing is, this server is very small. I think it was only 20 people. There's dozens of these servers. I have no idea just how many. All I know is that I'm confirmed on 5 big ones of servers like these. And my friend GamerDoc from Overwatch PD, like, he has shut down many of these discords, but like, obviously you just shut down the discord, the people won't disappear. So yeah, the throwing other people's games is more mainstream than you even think, and lately it has become even more popular. Like, it used to be really popular back in like 2017, 2018 in the booster community, where all the boosters would have their own int lists and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I said it before, but like, I was literally like the most hated person by the booster community. There were people that were win trading to boost like stacks of accounts to high ranks, but if I was in the team, they would just throw the game instead. They would literally be okay with losing money as long as I lost skill rating. It was that bad. Throwing is way more mainstream now. Like, also the amount of cheaters in Overwatch is ridiculously high right now. Like, you're gonna have a cheater pretty much every other game in Masters Plus, and the whole cheater community these days is all about just sniping streamers, laughing at how they're malding, or just laughing at how they don't even realize that they're cheating. And I personally, for some reason, get a lot of attention from the cheaters as well. Like, there's a lot of cheaters that think that I'm hacking and are salty about how I'm hacking, and people think that I'm good at the game. So even if they're not sniping me, usually they just max out their, like turn their hacks to the max and just make sure that I lose the game, or just throw the game if they're in my team. This is kind of personal, but I feel like I need to say this just to like paint the picture of like how much I get sniped and like the reasons behind why people snipe me. So basically there was this guy, he would snipe me for the whole day. Like I would stream 16 hours, he's there 16 hours in my games. I would like hide my stream and he would try to guess when I queue up, and we had this cat and mouse game. And yeah, he would do this for months. Like there were a couple week breaks at some points, and then like then my then e-girl friend went crazy when I broke up with her and started dating this stalker of mine that would snipe me for the whole day for months. And then they started stream sniping me together for months, and to this day they're still doing this stuff. Like they're probably watching this video. It's yeah, like that's you know, I don't know what else to say to that, but yeah, that's a thing as well. So there are, you could say there are like these factions in Overwatch. There's the cheaters, there's the boosters, there's the memers, and you know, like a new faction that has started attacking me is this internalized misogyny female gamers that hate on other female gamers, like especially like Mercy mains, and like they might be Mercy mains themselves, but they hate on other Mercy mains because they're more boosted than they are, or this person is boosted and this person should drop down, so they're gonna like stream snipe these people and throw their games to drop them to their real rank. And it's all just based around their insecurities about themselves. And yeah, like they just hate on anyone. It's ridiculous. It's the stupidest stuff I've ever seen. But yeah, this is the new addition to the group of people that also throw my games now, because like there's so much stuff. Like for example, I'm boosting her, so they have to stream snipe me and throw the games so that this doesn't happen, or like she doesn't deserve to play with me, so we must throw the games. So much weird stuff. So you might be thinking that's completely ridiculous. I don't believe you. Like, what? Explain to me. Why would anyone think this way? How can they convince themselves that it's okay to throw the games and like that's something they really need to do? So like here's an example of one of these people. She's called Australis, and she's saying, they assume I'm insecure and trying to say I'm better than her and put her down when I say the reason she's losing SR isn't because of SR, but instead it's cause she's bad. Imagine blaming the reason you're masters on throwers when in reality you're just a boosted bitch, then getting mad when someone says it. And then someone is like, we inting her games though. And then she's like, honestly, she's boosted as fuck, might as well put her where she belongs. So she's saying that the reason this person she's talking about is she can't believe that the person she's talking about is blaming dropping to masters because of throwers. And then immediately afterwards admits and is aware of the fact that people are actually throwing her games. And like here you can see she's saying like, I won't end anyone games but like Riley, Kefri, Chris and Flocculency, and Chris is the person she's talking about here. And then further on she tweets out like, I also said I'd int their games instead of I'd int their games back since they inted mine. So she feels like the person is so bad at the game that she's throwing every game, so whenever she gets this person in her team, it's justified for her to throw the game because she would lose the game anyways, because the target of this throwing is bad. They're justifying. It's like this cycle where they justify themselves. Like they first throw games for a person, and then she drops to masters, and then they convince themselves that because she dropped to masters, she must be bad, so we can throw her games, even though they already did throw the games. Like, I really don't understand what the fuck is going on in people's heads anymore. Like, I bet some of you guys still won't believe me, yeah, because you just refuse to believe that some people are this fucking stupid, but it's true. We're all just animals. We're evolved monkeys. We don't have any capability of living in an internet world. We're designed to be out in the nature, and if someone calls our wife ugly, we take our mammoth club and smash them in the face. You know, like that's what we were designed for. We weren't designed for anything this deep. That's why we're all so stupid. Like, I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm extremely stupid. Just like all of you guys watching. We're all stupid. And that's why this thing keeps happening. Like, but I don't know, like maybe we could wake up. Maybe we could stop this bullshit and just play the game. If you need to find a new way to enjoy the game, like by ruining it for others, then maybe just stop playing the game and move on with your lives. You want more stories? Well, for example, there's this guy. He came to my stream when I was playing Path of Exile, which is like Diablo. I was playing solo self-found hardcore mode, which means that I can't group up with other players. And if I die, then my character gets deleted. So he comes to my stream for the very first time in his whole life, and he asks me to throw away 25 hours of progress in the game and move on to the softcore league and play with him. And I respectfully say no. And he gets mad. You know, like, you know, he gets mad. And then he makes an account called Arrge and jumps off the map in his diamond games, telling people to check my stream. He's acting like he's me, and I literally get people in my stream flaming me because I'm jumping off the map in their games. Even though I'm live right now in another game, they still come to the stream and tell me that I'm a bad human being because I'm jumping off the map in their games, even though they see that I'm literally in a different game at the exact same time as this fake Arrge. Like, the only it's like, it's a 0-star bronze border Arrge that says he's me. My account is diamond border. And they still think that it's me. And this dude spent weeks doing this stuff. And now he bought aimbot. After like half a year, he's back on the same account. And he's hacking in high masters, waiting for me to climb back up. He's like the gatekeeper now. I don't understand these people. This is so stupid. Why do you do this, man? I just wanted to play solo self-found hardcore. You can't get offended when I don't want to play with you in a boring game mode. Like, come on, bro. It's fine. Just calm the fuck down, people. This ain't it. Do you want more stories? Well, there was this guy about 16 seasons ago. He got into my team and he jumped off the map. And then I called him trash and boosted and a noob, all this stuff, because I felt personally attacked by the fact that he was jumping off the map and saying that I'm throwing the game, even though he was the one jumping off the map. And yeah, then I reported him for gameplay sabotage, of course, and he reported me for gameplay sabotage. And then 16 seasons later, I get him in my team and he throws the game and proudly claims that 16 seasons ago I reported him for no reason. That he was allowed to jump off the map and throw the game because I was throwing by being a one trick. So he held this grudge for 16 seasons. Do you guys know how long that is? That's like over 2 years. And he still remembers that. He still to this day is mad. Even though he was the one who jumped off the map, he still felt like it wasn't okay for me to report him because I was throwing already by being a hanzo one trick. This is the world we live in, guys. This is Overwatch. Like, Overwatch is filled with people that can't function in the real world. People that have big problems. I'm not saying I don't have big problems. Like, I have ridiculous problems. I burned out and dropped out of university. That's why I'm here. I'm one of these people. But I'm trying to be a good guy. I don't wanna hurt anyone. I'm just trying to live my life and try to become a cool YouTube guy / streamer guy. And to those people that are like, but Arrge, you're giving them what they want. Now you gave them attention. Now they won. I just don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck anymore. I've been doing this for over 3 years now. I don't care. I don't care. I don't think you should care. If they feel like they won, maybe that makes them happy enough that they can finally move on with their lives. And yeah, if they wanna keep throwing my games, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing I can do about it, but I want to talk about it, so here we go. And yeah, I don't mind. I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna be riding the wave. I'm not gonna try to swim against the wave. We will go where life takes me. They might have won, but I won too. I'm winning too. There's so much content, there's so much cool stuff happening with these people inting me to diamond right now. Like, you guys, I don't mind. We're all winners, you know. Maybe this is it. Maybe, you know, this is how we all win. I'm just gonna chill and, you know, we're gonna see where it goes. But now, finally, I'm gonna read out this tweet longer that I did to kinda open to, like, just how the way I act, why I act this way, and how I've managed to piss off so many people. So 3 years ago, I was at the lowest point of my life. I was a complete mess, suffering from burnout, anxiety disorder and depression, ADHD, Asperger's syndrome, and whatever other labels doctors wanted to put on me. I also had to carry the stress from my family having bad issues at the time as well. I didn't really eat. I went from 105 kilograms to 75 without doing any exercise or barely even leaving the apartment. I would literally spend 40 minutes typing a 3-line response to someone asking for hanzo tips in my YouTube comment section because I was so anxious about typing something wrong, stupid, cringy, etc. I couldn't fall asleep until the person responded to the message convincing me that what I said wasn't stupid. I was too scared to stream because I thought everyone would just laugh and ridicule me like they had done my whole life. But after I burned out the second time in university, failed my exams, and literally lived in a sea of trash and felt like I was complete trash myself, I decided to just stream and let everyone laugh and ridicule me like I deserved to be laughed at. So I go live on Twitch and no one laughs at me. I peak at 20 viewers, everyone in the chat is nice, and for the first time in my whole life, I felt like people genuinely wanted to be around me. And after the stream, I cried out of happiness. I cried because I felt happy for the first time in as long as I could remember. I cried so much that I couldn't even play the next day because my eyes were so fucked. And since at that point I didn't care about myself or my future, I just immediately decided to drop out of university and just stream, since it was the only thing in my life that actually made me happy or even made me feel anything. And I was going to do it until I get kicked out of my apartment onto the street, and after that, who cares about what happens to me? But I never got kicked out. I kept getting overwhelming support from my community and could just keep paying my rent and buying better streaming equipment. And then we get to the part of why have I always had a bunch of people relentlessly hating me? So basically, I was bullied my whole life in school, every day. And the first 6 years in school, my best friend was also a bully of mine. I was the only person in my school, in addition to him, who liked to play games all day. So he would play games with me, etc., and then bully me with the other bullies at school because he didn't want people to know he was a sad nerd like me. They would literally manage to make me feel bad about anything and make all my achievements seem like a joke. And to this day, it makes my blood boil when I think about how powerless, humiliated, and pathetic I felt most of my life. When I started streaming, I swore to myself that I would never let anyone make me feel that way again, that I would immediately retaliate in the most brutal possible way I could think of if anyone messed with me. So, to give you an idea how far I would go, for example, if someone announced that they won't even try to win because they got that fat, delusional, egotistic, trash hanzo one trick in their team again, I took it as them literally telling to my face that I'm bad at the game and not trying to win, even though I was putting up to 18 hours a day into the game and it being the only thing that mattered in my life. So I would use the bullying skills I had acquired from being bullied my whole life and deduct that the person was insecure about their weight, since they were calling me fat despite me being 75 kilograms, and that they for some reason felt infuriated by me thinking I am the best hanzo in the game. So I tailored my response to hit all his insecurities I could deduct or guess, and also reinforced his belief of me being full of myself, even though in reality at that point I was convinced that no girl would ever even look my way, and that people only watched me for my skill, not because of me. So even though at that point I was so angry I would have punched them if I could physically reach them, I would channel all of my power into appearing completely calm, laughed in the person's face saying, "It's not my fault that you are fat and no one loves you, and just because you're jealous that I am handsome and an actual god doesn't give you the right to ruin my game for me," making sure I even word myself in a way that to him it seems like I only care about me and myself only. And the easiest way to make people mad who tried to provoke me was accusing them of stream sniping me, even people who I know weren't. But this would also result more often than not in a self-fulfilling prophecy of these people starting to actually also stream snipe me because they hated me so much. I essentially would make myself into the person they hated the most just to be able to retaliate even harder at them. This resulted in kind of a blood feud style cycle where people kept trying to fuck with me and me just retaliating and triggering them, reinforcing their beliefs about me being a bad person. And probably the culmination of this being me being suspended with fake gameplay sabotage reports for 4 times in a short period of time. Blizzard literally gave me 5 loot boxes as an apology for me being unfairly suspended. And this type of mindset combined with playing a character that most people considered atropic resulted in pissing off so many people that apparently at one point I was even on the int list of the whole booster community, and they would int the game anytime they got me in their team, even if they were currently boosting an account. And I had dozens of people stream sniping me up to 10 hours a day, and all this further fed into the cycle of more and more people flaming me and hating me due to them losing games because of people throwing the game because of me. And I'm not proud of the way I acted in the past. I'm sure that I sometimes have overreacted and attacked someone who didn't deserve it, and also indirectly offended or made a bystander feel bad about their insecurities. Sometimes I would even act like an egoistic cunt or say bad stuff just because I felt like I deserved to be hated and have the only thing taken from me that gave me happiness. To this day, I can't fully control myself if I'm angry. Make me angry enough and I will literally sacrifice my whole career in an attempt to get back at you. I can't even get rid of the knee-jerk reaction to sometimes make fun of someone who asks a stupid question in my chat, just like I was made fun of at school for saying something stupid. And then afterwards I desperately try to message them in Twitch DMs to make sure that they know they're not actually stupid. And some of you might think that something like that would just be funny content, but what if the person who typed the stupid question in my chat is just like how I was 3 years ago? What if the person felt utterly useless and alone, mustered up all the courage he had to type a message into Twitch chat for the very first time in his life, and then I would have made him feel humiliated and stupid, just like everyone else in my life. I'm going to end my TED talk now, before it turns into even more potato. All I can promise is that I will keep trying my hardest to become a better person and a more positive part of the Overwatch community. I'm eternally grateful for all the support I have got, to all the people who hang out with me or on Twitch or even just lurk. I'm grateful for having been able to meet so many amazing people. I'm so grateful to have found the love of my life, Lucy, and to be able to move to another country to live with her. I'm so fucking grateful about everything. Also, sorry to all the amazing friends I have made that I never approach. I'm so darn introverted that most of the time even thinking about approaching someone makes me feel physically exhausted. So, I hope you guys got something positive out of this.